They got me feeling like I'm academics.
Thing about 6 years ago. And it's very interesting how this list has even evolved. I said this is tiers to this rap shit. It's like basketball. I tweeted this out in 2019. I said tier 1 was Drake. Tier 2 was Kendrick, J. Cole, Travis Scott, Kanye. Tier 3 had Meek Mill, Savage, Future, The Baby, Uzi, Young Thug. And tier 4 I had Tekka, TJ, Polo G, Choppa, and Melly. There's a lot of changes I could definitely do to this list. The main change I would love to do is that, number 1, Future is tier 2. Future is a tier 2 artist. He has graduated in the last 6 years. By the way, for everybody who's wondering, listen, this is all about, did you go up, did you go down, or did you stay the same level? Let's be honest. This is entertainment. Fame, celebrityhood, buzz is fleeting. So you're constantly either getting hotter or you're constantly getting colder, but you're never remaining the same for any substantial period of time. Drake is still in a tier by himself, if you ask me. Tier 2, I still think all 4 of these guys are in tier 2. Kendrick, Cole, Travis Scott, even Kanye. I do believe there's 2 people that's missing out of tier 2, though, and possibly 3. I would put, actually 3 people. Let me be respectful. We got Cardi, who needs to be tier 2. We have Youngboy, who needs to be tier 2. And, of course, Future Vandross, who needs to be tier 2. Okay? So, if I have to alter my list, there's still only one Drake. There is nobody in that tier. Okay? The second tier, keep the same 4. We're adding NBA Youngboy. We're adding Playboy Cardi. And we're absolutely adding Future. Tier 3 is where we get a lot of the changes. And this is going to hurt some of y'all feelings because we're going to have to go to tier 5 eventually. Meek Mill is no longer a tier 3 artist. He's actually a tier 4 or 5. Savage, tier 3. The Baby, The Baby's tier 4. Uzi, I'm going to keep him at 3. Lil Baby, we're going to keep him at 3. Young Thug, we'll keep him at 3. A Boogie, I'm putting him to 4. Roddy Ricch, I'm putting him to 4. Gunna, keep him at 3. Hey, I call a spade, chat. Y'all should see. Tier 4. Oh, by the way, moving up into tier 3, Lil Tekka is moved up into tier 3. Tekka by himself goes up into tier 3. Absolutely. Lil Tekka moves up into tier 3. By the way, Rod Wave would be in tier 3, but sometimes I don't know if you guys consider him like rapper or not. Like, he is a rapper, clearly, but I think because a lot of his music kind of come across like, you know, it's like his own genre. That's why sometimes he gets left out of these lists. But Rod Wave's absolutely in tier 3. So tier 4, we're going to have Lil TJ. We're going to have Polo G. We're going to have NLE Choppa. We're going to have Meek Mill. We're going to have The Baby. They're going to be in this. We're going to have Roddy Ricch. We're going to have Roddy Ricch and A Boogie. Yes, they will be tier 4 at this point. Don't hate me. It is what it is. By the way, 6 years is a long time. That's the normal lifespan of a regular career in hip-hop. So if you were on this list back then and now, you're doing something right. Not everybody's going to be Drake. Not everybody going to be Travis. Not everybody going to be Future. So if you were listed in 2019 and you're still listed now, you're doing something right, even if you fell a tier down, in my opinion. Kodak is not a tier 2 artist. Kodak is, I'm going to be honest with you, Kodak is tier 3, but I'm going to keep it a bean with you. If I was to do this another year from now and Kodak doesn't give us a hit, I think Kodak's on the clock for a hit. Kodak might fall to tier 4. It's about production. Kodak did put out some amazing music recently, but he needs one to stick. And he usually has one sticking. It's been a while. Dirk is tier 3, even though he's incarcerated. Somebody said Travis fell off. No, Travis is going to be tier 2. He's like, for somebody, even if you don't like a project of theirs, for J. Cole or Travis to fall out of tier 2, like, they got to damn near become irrelevant, you know? Which is not going to happen. Yeah, I said yeah, Polo G. The Polo G might be tier 5. Anyway, Don Toliver is not tier 2. He is tier 3, but he's a strong tier 3. Very strong. So the people in tier 2, these are like bona fide, like knock him out the park superstars. Not saying that Don Toliver isn't that yet. I still think he has a proven ground of about a year and a half to really figure out, is Don Toliver, is he going to have some staying power within that tier? He just did an arena tour. Congrats to him. That was amazing. But we need a little bit more from him. Kevin, thank you for that super chat. Appreciate you. Future is tier 2. Future is by the way, I think Future would be at top of tier 2. Future's right up there to me with Kendrick and Travis. G Herbo, it's interesting. So I would have G Herbo at tier 4. I'm gonna tell you why tier 4 and not tier 3. So tier 3, if your album didn't do pretty good numbers, like for example, like Savage album did pretty good numbers, right? He's gonna stay in tier 3. Well, I guess the difference between tier 3 and tier 2, when these guys are hot, they could possibly do an arena tour, but they sell around 100,000. Does that make sense? So for me in tier 3, they're gonna sell around 100,000 plus or minus 25, so 75 to 125K, right? That's what their numbers is gonna be, and they have done some touring or festival headlining that could make me think that. That's why Boogie falls out of tier 3. That's why Roddy falls out of tier 3. I don't think both of them could sell over 50,000 currently, respectfully, and I like both of them clearly. Meek also falls out of it. Meek would be a tier 4 artist currently for me. A tier 4, so if I had to put numbers, you want me to put numbers on this? We could have more fun with it. We could have way more fun with it, right? Let's go. Let's have way more fun with this. Okay, here we go. So in my tiers, tier 1, you have to sells over 350K. There's only one person that does that, is Drake. That's why it's only his category, okay? Tier 2, because the sales have to matter too, can do solo arena tour, sell over, I want to say 165K. This is just first week. Tier 3 can do arenas when has hot single, selling range 75K to 125K. Tier 4, under 50K, might have a hood club banger going on. The streets love him. Let's just say that. You know when people use that stupid ass term? The streets love him. Okay, that's tier 4. Tier 5. A veteran running on their last leg. Great addition to open up for tier 3 or higher artists on tour. One hot single, nobody listens to album. Tier 6, just head on over to Streamer University, nigga. There you go. We got it all right here, chat. Here we go. Oh, I think that works, chat. Tier 1, sell over 350K. That's Drake. Tier 2, could do a solo arena tour. Kanye could. Kendrick could. J. Cole could. Travis could. Everybody who I had in that list could. If they dropped an album, Future could. They would sell over 165,000 copies. Tier 3, they could do an arena when they got a hot single. But they're usually selling in the range of 75K to 125. Okay? Gunna is a perfect example for fitting in this range right here. Tier 4 is under 50K. They might have a hood club banger, you know what I mean? You know, we know one or two of their songs, never listen to their album. Tier 5, if they're a veteran, that means they're on their last leg. Okay? Before they have to, you know what I mean, get that CDL, they're a great addition because they got the yo, let me perform my one dope hit, or I got 3 hits from back in 20. Like, with all due respect, Tier 5, a good example of that is Fetty Wap. Respectfully. I hope you understand what I'm saying. I'm not trying to diss Fetty because I love Fetty. But yeah, Tier 5, Fetty. Tier 6, just head on. I don't even want to call a nigga name. It's kaput. Out of here. Out of here. YouTube is down. No. What happened to YouTube? It's down and came back up. Give me a second. I'm trying to figure out what happened to YouTube. Okay, it is coming back. I'm not too sure what happened. Okay. All right. Does everyone agree with that? Does that make sense? So if we go back off of that, right? So that's the criteria. And we go back to it. Tier 1 would still be Drake. Tier 2, remember, Tier 2 is you could have a solo tour you're going to sell over at 165. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So everyone I mentioned is in there. Now, the only thing I would say, 2 artists. Well, only one artist. So YoungBoy, I believe YoungBoy's range is probably 125 on the first week. I think Cardi, if he comes back, he could do a still 150 first week. I think YoungBoy would be the lowest selling first week in Tier 2, but because of his tour, he has one of the strongest tours in Tier 2. So remember, in this Tier 2 shit right here, I'm adding Future, YoungBoy, and Cardi. Future, YoungBoy, Cardi. I think Cardi could sell over 150, and he always goes on tours. By the way, he just got announced to headline Complex Con. Again, most of these festivals are Cardi cons or Cardi festivals. Like, he's always going to be great tour. Kendrick did the Grand National Tour. That was good. J. Cole always got those, losers who go up to his fucking tour dates. If you want to hear how third place feels, he always got like a good arena size full of people to go hear that shit. Travis is just, I think Travis at some point is going to do stadium. I think after his next album, stadiums. Yeah, I think he can. Travis Scott's a live show killer. Even without the finesse, I know he always does the finesse where he acts like he sold $500,000. Even if he didn't do the finesse, he'd be able to sell like 200,000. So he'll be fine. So he's on that list. And Kanye is just Kanye. Like, we don't even have to talk about Kanye stats. He's definitely there. Future is going to be pushing close to 200. Cardi at least 150, 160. And he's doing tours. And then Youngboy, probably one of the best, heralded tours in here compares to spending, how much he has to spend, and what he takes home. Right? That's another thing people don't realize about Youngboy's tour. Grossed $80 million, and his overhead is not as much as most of these other people's tour. Tier 3, keep Savage, keep Uzi, keep Baby, keep Thug. Even though I would probably say I'm being a little bit generous to Thug. I think Thug is about to be a tier 4 artist. Thug can't sell no records. And if Baby, if I didn't still think he had some pulling power for a tour, I'd put him tier 4 too. Honestly. But I still think that if he does a tour, he could almost sell it out, and you could do an arena damn near if he got a song. You get what I'm saying? Young Thug, by the way, both of them flopped last time they dropped. But Baby, I still think, he's been putting in effort on the touring circuit. Young Thug, we've been waiting to see if he could do a tour. He can't sell records. He can't make a hit. He can't tour. I'm just putting him at tier 3 for the namesake. A Boogie, I feel like A Boogie's been inactive. And that alone, we got to take him out of there. Roddy Ricch, to me, I feel the same about him as I feel about Boogie. Feels inactive. Or maybe I'm just not paying attention. Remove him. Gunna, solid tier 3 artist, if you ask me. Solid. Lil Tecca to me is a tier 3 artist, even though he hasn't graduated yet. He hasn't graduated yet to an arena. Like, we haven't seen, even like a Tecca and Friends, we haven't seen that, but he does solid numbers by himself. He's consistent. One of the youngest guys on here. He seems to be getting better with time. So I'm going to put him in tier 3. Tier 4, I'm keeping TJ there. I'm keeping NLE Choppa there. Makes no sense to talk about Windham and Melly. He wasn't free at that time, but his wave was still going. He's been incarcerated for damn near 7-8 years now, so. But yeah. Anyway. That's the list, man. I want to hear what you guys have to think, or what you guys think about pretty much anybody on this list. All right, so we should probably get to Thorngate, right?